just been out to sort out my tyres. Just to get 4 tyres done, just calling in, you can end up waiting 2 hours before they even start on your car. But if you go in and actually book, you get like a time slot. You can just turn up. That way they guarantee the tyres you want are there and everything. So I've just been out to do that. And while I was out, I thought I'd call in at a place. It's a DIY store, home base, but it has like a little garden centre area attached to it. So I thought I'd have a quick look round, see if there's anything not too expensive for the garden to get some other stuff in. And these daisy-like flowers caught my eye. They don't look the best of plants, but they've got some sort of dead bits on them, but they weren't expensive. And they're both perennials. These are a lovely colour, and they are capable of getting a sort of reddish tinge to the tips of the petals, but I think they need sun to do that. These weren't in the sun, they were in a shaded area. So as you can see the picture, I think it's the sun that probably brings out the colour. It's been dead-headed quite a bit already, but then there's plenty of blooms and there's stacks more buds to come. And what does it say? Compact bushy perennial producing delightful double yellow and burgundy marked flowers over light green leaves, ideal for a border or container planting. This will probably go in a container, it will go in a garden tub. If I leave it in this flower pot, it'll just keep blowing over. It might just get stood in that pot for now. Planted in full sun in fertile, well-drained soil. Summer, autumn flowering from July to October. Well, July to October, that's not bad going, is it? I suspect it's the chillier nights and everything that finish them off. Yeah, keep well watered throughout growing season. Apply a top dressing in spring. I love the way they tell you how to plant it. Dig a hole. Replace soil around root ball, firm in and water well. Yeah, says the same thing on practically every plant, doesn't it? And then this is scabious. Now, this is a hybrid, obviously. There is a wild version of this, and it is incredibly popular with bees and hoverflies and butterflies if they're around. Again, there's plenty of blooms out, and there's plenty still to open. Mariposa blue. So as I say, we do have a wild version of this. Clump forming perennial, produces masses of delicate lavender blue flower heads over dark grey green foliage on wiry stems, ideal for borders and containers. Again, it all attractive to butterflies and bees. I already knew that from the wild version. You do sometimes get a problem though when they take wild flowers in and then they start hybridizing and stuff like that. Sometimes they lose their attractiveness to the pollinators. But in the garden centre, although these plants were in a shaded area, there were bees on them. So the bees had come in from outside basically and found them. I didn't see any bees on the yellow ones, but then these were next door, so this probably attracted them more. Summer from June to September the flowering on this, so add a couple of months onto the yellow one, so that's good stuff. Keep well watered, top dressing and fertiliser each spring. So yeah, I mean if you're going to grow in containers you should be doing that anyway, and you should top up your fertiliser part way through the year. Depending on how long, most people are going to use slow release pellets of some kind. The slow release pellets that I've got, I've actually got a fast release pellet mixed in. So when you apply that, you get a kick to the plant, you know, within the first few weeks. And then the slow release lasts a few months after that. But I doubt if there's any pellets that are going to last all summer long from early spring. So you need to top up your old fertiliser as well. So yeah, it looks like there's possibly several plants in here. It also looks like there might be some other types of plants. Those leaves don't look the same to me, so yeah, so we might have something else in here as well that's actually managed to get in there. I was just following the sort of feathery leaves on these go right down to the base. So these leaves are not the same. So I think that's something else in there. Maybe it's something interesting. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to find a place out of the wind and out of the sun and put these outside for now. I can't deal with them now. It's getting later in the day. And then hopefully we'll get those planted up in some tubs, or at least placed in some tubs so that they don't blow over. I haven't got, apart from the early spring yellow daffodils and things like that, I haven't actually got any yellow blooms, so these are the first. We've got pinks and purples and stuff, and I've got some ground cover that has yellow blooms on, but yeah, so that'll be a nice splash of yellow in somewhere where I can find a spot for it, but it needs the sun. They both do. So there we go, a couple of new plants for the garden. Right, the last of my spare garden tubs. I haven't actually planted the plants in them, I've just stood them in them, but it will stop them falling over because they're heavy. So that one's going to go there, and that will complement these when they come out, because they are a similar shape, you know, long tall things and daisy-like blooms, so they'll sort of go together. And I've managed to position that so that the thyme behind still gets some sun. And on the subject of thyme, looks like the first one's out in flower, unless that's a weed. I don't think it is. And then the other one I've put over here. What we need to do is move that one along a bit so that they're a bit more evenly spaced. Something like that. And yeah, that's the last two. This tub, I've had this tub a very, very long time, and it's got lovely bamboo patterning on it, but it's green. As you've probably noticed in the garden, most of the tubs have a blue theme. And that one's green, so it's at the back, so it doesn't stand out quite so much. It's still a nice tub though. But that's the last of them, and I bought a lot of these a long time ago when looking out for special offers and stuff like that, because they're not cheap, really not cheap. And nowadays they're a lot more expensive than they were when I got these. So yeah, probably won't be getting too many more of them, because, you know, it's justifying the money again. Well, that's a weed. Have that out while we're here. So all I can do with the weeds is just literally as I come across them, just try and pull them out as I go. There aren't too many, and the more the ground cover picks up, the less room there is for weeds, basically. So yeah. Anyway, so something else to deadhead. That ground cover there is starting to look very good now. But, I haven't seen any bees or butterflies on it, but then, you know, there's so few butterflies around this year that, you know, they're just not here. So hopefully in the not too distant future we'll get the summer broods all starting to hatch out and get around, and that'll be good. So yeah, just a bit more colour, you know, a little bit now and again. Can't go spending loads of money all at once, especially as I'm about to pay for 4 new tyres. It's a lot of money. And then I've got to get the discs and the brakes done on the car, as they are. I got the guy who does next door's van had a look at them while he was out there doing his van, and he said they are getting quite thin. The discs themselves have got quite a lip on them where the pads have worn into them. He said they are getting a bit thin now. So I'm going to have to get on with that. Got away with it through a couple of MOTs with just a warning, but you know, brakes and tyres, there's a safety issue there, isn't it? You know, so I'll have to get on and get that done as well. And then the rent will be due. No, never stops, never ending. Still, that's life, that's how it is. See you next time.